press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello dear students, welcome back to the session. In today's session, we will be understanding the significance of sodium chloride. We will know how sodium chloride acts as a raw material in the synthesis of various chemicals. Various important chemicals like bleaching powder, baking soda, washing soda utilize sodium chloride as the raw ingredient. So let's understand one by one. Before that, we will know what this sodium chloride is. Sodium chloride, or the common salt, is one which is widely and regularly used in our food. Chemically speaking, sodium chloride is a neutral salt. You already know that sodium chloride is obtained by the action of strong acid and a strong base. The strong acid being hydrochloric acid and a strong base being sodium hydroxide. These two will yield a neutral salt called sodium chloride and water. And hence sodium chloride is a neutral salt obtained by the action of strong acid and strong base. Sodium chloride, you all know that seawater entails various chemicals. Seawater contains various salts dissolved in it. Sodium chloride is separated using particular techniques. You must also heard of the term rock salt. What is this rock salt? This rock salt can be attributed to the mineral form of sodium chloride. This rock salt is referred to as halite, and this is referred to as the mineral form of sodium chloride. This rock salt looks brownish in color because of impurities present in it, and using various techniques these impurities are removed, and the salt which we regularly use is how obtained by employing various techniques to it. By employing various techniques to remove impurities present in rock salt. So the beds of rock salt are formed when the seas of bygone ages dried up. Bygone ages is seas several thousands of years ago. When they dried up, beds of rock salts were formed since. Like how coal is mined, in a similar fashion, rock salt is also mined. So this is all about sodium chloride. We are also aware that sodium chloride played a very significant role, very crucial role during our freedom struggle too. So now let's understand how this is used in the synthesis of various chemicals, how sodium chloride acts as a very important ingredient or a raw material in the synthesis of various chemicals of significance. To begin with, let's understand what this chlor-alkali process is. Chlor-alkali process, the name itself indicates, the process entails the synthesis of chlorine, and alkali is the base that is dissolved in water, that is sodium hydroxide is produced in this process. This is a simple representation of chlor-alkali process. Chlor-alkali process is nothing but electrolysis of brine solution is a very simple and is a very simple technique which entails electrolysis of brine solution. So what is this brine solution? Brine is nothing but sodium chloride dissolved in water is brine solution. Very simple. Sodium chloride in the aqueous form dissolved in water is brine solution. The electrolysis of brine solution will give three important products. They are chlorine, hydrogen and sodium hydroxide. So the equation, we can represent it using a equation. Sodium chloride and water upon electrolysis yield hydrogen gas, chlorine gas and NaOH, sodium hydroxide, in its aqueous state. So H2 and Cl2, because they exist as diatomic molecules. sodium chloride and water. This is what is referred to as brine solution. Upon electrolysis, upon passing electric current through it, what happens? Three important products are formed. One is hydrogen, the other is chlorine, and the other ingredient and the other important product, we can attribute this to be the product, is NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Simple representation, brine solution is passed through it, and anode and cathode, you are already aware that anode is a positive electrode and cathode is a negative electrode. Chlorine gas is produced at the anode, whereas hydrogen at cathode. Similarly, the NaOH, the brine solution containing NaOH, is also produced near cathode. So this is a simple process. Chloralkali, because of the products obtained here. Chlor refers to chlorine and alkali is sodium hydroxide. Check whether the equation is balanced or not. Whenever we write an equation, we also need to check whether the equation is balanced or not. NaCl, sodium, both LHS and RHS, in both the sides sodium is balanced. Chlorine, here it is 2 and here it is 1 atom of chlorine, so I need to balance chlorine present in the left hand side, right? So I need to put 2 here. So what happened now? Sodium also got 2 atoms, and that's the reason I need to put 2 here. Na and Cl is also balanced, whereas we need to check for hydrogen. Hydrogen is 2 and here it is 2 plus 2 is 4. So I need to put 2 here so that hydrogen atoms are balanced. Check for oxygen now. Oxygen, 2 atoms of oxygen are present, and here also 2 atoms of oxygen. So now we can say that the equation is balanced. 2 NaCl plus 2 H2O gives rise to 2 NaOH plus H2 plus Cl2. Is this clear to you? Alright. So the 3 important products obtained are hydrogen, chlorine and sodium hydroxide. Let's understand the uses, the applications of each of these products. The very first being the hydrogen. Hydrogen is widely used as fuel. Hydrogen is referred to as a zero emission fuel. Hydrogen fuel is a zero emission fuel. Meaning it doesn't pollute environment. And liquid hydrogen, as it is very light and is also a powerful propellant, it is widely used in rockets and spacecraft propulsion. So because of these 2 reasons, it is used in rockets and several spacecraft propulsions. And margarine. What is this margarine? Margarine, have you heard of this term margarine? Hope these 2 points are clear to you. It's used as a fuel, and liquid hydrogen, because of its nature, because it is light and is a powerful propellant, it is used in rocket and spacecraft propulsions. Margarine is referred to as artificial butter or synthetic butter. Artificial or synthetic butter. ಕೃತಕ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ. So what is this artificial butter? Artificial butter is a very inexpensive, commercially important product. It is similar to butter, but it is not actually butter. It is a synthetic or artificial butter. It's not very expensive, it's very inexpensive, and hence it finds various applications, that is, it finds its utility commercially. Some researchers say, although it's not good for health, but depending on the processing, depending on several other factors, this can be consumed. its quality can be checked and can be consumed. So margarine is referred to as artificial butter. And what is the relationship between this margarine and hydrogen? There are several techniques to prepare this margarine or artificial butter. One such technique is hydrogenation of vegetable oil. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils or hydrogenation of oils. You must have come across this term in the chapter carbon and its compounds. Hydrogenation is nothing but passing hydrogen gas to unsaturated oils in order to make them saturated. So unsaturated oils, what happens here? Hydrogenation refers to converting or passing hydrogen gas to these vegetable oils, unsaturated oils, so that they become saturated fats, so that it becomes easy to carry, and also its shelf life is also improved. There are several other advantages to it. So hydrogenation here refers to in the process of manufacturing margarine, hydrogen gas, this is how hydrogen gas is used. So hydrogenation of oil is one such technique wherein hydrogen finds its utility, and preparation of margarine, we can correlate the hydrogen to the preparation of margarine in this way. Is this clear to you? And next, hydrogen finds its uses. Ammonia fertilizer. So we can, ammonia is NH3, and hence we can say that hydrogen also is used as a fertilizer. So this is all about hydrogen. Next important product we obtained was chlorine. Cl2. Chlorine finds its applications in several sectors. Chlorine. First and foremost, whenever we think of chlorine, the first thing that comes to our mind is disinfection. So chlorine is a powerful disinfectant. So as it is a powerful disinfectant, meaning it kills pathogens, it kills microorganisms. So as it is a powerful disinfectant, it is used to clean water. It is used in various water treatments. It is used in water treatment. It is used to clean swimming pools. Etc. The second thing is, you must have come across the term PVC. PVC refers to polyvinyl chloride, right? PVC pipes, the very famous PVC pipes. Polyvinyl chloride is a widely used plastic polymer, is a widely used synthetic polymer, and it finds its applications in various sectors because of its nature, because of its flexibility and various other qualities. The important being, it is used in pipes and sheeting, and because of its properties, it's also used as insulation. It is used to insulate electrical appliances. So it also acts as an insulator. Electrical cable insulation. So all these things we can attribute to PVC. And when we think of chlorine, the other uses that come to our mind are, although these are not eco-friendly, we can add these things to CFCs and also pesticides. CFCs are chlorofluorocarbons, widely used, that is chlorofluorocarbons, they are widely used in aerosols, in refrigerators and ACs. They damage our environment to a greater extent, and this is the reason nowadays in market CFC free refrigerators are available. And pesticides, chlorine is also used in the synthesis of various pesticides. So these are the uses of chlorine. And now let's move on to the utility of NaOH, how NaOH finds its utility and applications in various industries. Sodium hydroxide is used as degreasing agent. Is a powerful degreasing material. It's used to as a degreasing agent used to degrease metals. You must have experienced when your clothes are filled with grease, and you wash away the grease that is stick to your clothes by using some detergents, soaps, etc. But think of large industries where the grease are very powerful and the grease attached to metals are not that easy to remove. So degreasing metals require a very strong agent like sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide is a powerful degreasing agent. It is used to degrease, that is to remove grease from metals. It finds its applications in various industries like paper industry. It finds its applications in paper industry. In paper industry, sodium hydroxide is used to remove dirt and grease present in wood. It makes these fibers very clean. So sodium hydroxide finds its applications in paper industry also. And we find various other applications of sodium hydroxide. Very important. This is a very important ingredient. It's a very important ingredient in the manufacture of soaps and detergents. You must have heard of the term saponification, manufacture of soaps and detergents. Very important ingredient in the manufacture of soaps and detergents. And also we can say it is used in petroleum refinery. So these are the uses of sodium hydroxide, and this is all about chloralkali process. Let's move on to another important chemical, that is bleaching powder. Hope this is clear to you. How sodium hydroxide is used as a degreasing agent to degrease metals. It is used in paper industry to remove dirt present in wood and make the fibers clean. It is used as an ingredient in the manufacture of soaps and detergents and in petroleum refinery. Sodium hydroxide. Let's move on to another important chemical, that is bleaching powder. Bleaching powder finds its applications in various industries. Also, it finds its utility for various domestic purposes too. Bleaching powder. Also, it is a powerful. It's also. Bleaching powder is also used. Is also a powerful disinfectant. We'll understand about the uses of bleaching powder. Let's understand how bleaching powder is obtained now. Bleaching powder is obtained when chlorine gas is made to react with the dry slaked lime. Dry slaked lime is CaO4. OH twice. This is dry slaked lime or calcium hydroxide. Dry slaked lime is made to react with chlorine gas. The product obtained is bleaching powder. Chemically, bleaching powder is calcium oxychloride. Is this clear to you? Calcium oxychloride. C for calcium, O oxy, and Cl2 for chlorine. Calcium oxychloride. Calcium oxychloride, and also the product obtained here is with this H2O. Check whether the equation is balanced. In the left hand side calcium, and in the right hand side we have the same one atom of calcium. Oxygen is 2 here, so here also 1 plus 1 is 2. Oxygen atoms are also balanced. Hydrogen, there are 2 atoms of hydrogen, and here also we find in the right hand side 2 atoms of hydrogen. Chlorine is also balanced. So the equation is balanced. Calcium oxychloride is also referred to as, the another name for this is calcium hypochlorite. HYPO, hypochlorite, RITE. Make out the difference. Calcium oxychloride, RIDE, or calcium hypochlorite. So you must be wondering how sodium chloride is used as a raw material in the synthesis of bleaching powder, right? We haven't written NaCl here at all. So this is obtained when chlorine gas is made to act upon dry slaked lime. And how come sodium chloride is a raw ingredient here? Sodium chloride is indirectly used as a raw material. In the chloralkali process, we came to know chlorine gas is obtained in the chloralkali process by the electrolysis of brine solution, that is by the electrolysis of sodium chloride, aqueous sodium chloride. And this is how we can say that bleaching powder also utilizes sodium chloride as its raw material. Is this clear to you? Although in the equation we haven't written sodium chloride, we came to know that in chloralkali process chlorine gas is obtained. How? It's obtained by the electrolysis of brine solution. Brine solution is nothing but sodium chloride. Aqueous solution of sodium chloride is what brine solution is, and in that process we obtained chlorine gas, and this chlorine gas is made to react with calcium hydroxide or dry slaked lime, and with this we obtained an important chemical called as bleaching powder. Is this clear to you, children? Okay, let's understand what are the applications or uses of bleaching powder. Okay, bleaching powder uses. The very first thing is it finds its applications in cotton and linen, in textile industry, that is for bleaching cotton and linen, for bleaching cotton and linen fibers. In textile industry, we can say that it finds its application in textile industries. So to bleach cotton and linen fibers, it is used. Bleaching is cleaning. For cleaning cotton and linen, the bleaching powder is used. And in paper industry, in order to clean, in order to bleach, wood pulp. So this wood pulp is bleached, that is impurities are removed. It is bleached, it's made clean. So in wood pulp, for bleaching wood pulp, and also it's used in laundries, widely used in laundries. In laundries, it is used to bleach clothes. You must have seen in laundries bleaching powder is used in order to remove the stains, the extra stains or unwanted color, unwanted stain present in the clothes. So it's also used to bleach clothes in. So in laundry also it finds its applications. Also it finds some domestic applications too. With this, let's move on to another utility of bleaching powder. It also finds its application as a disinfectant. It's also a powerful disinfectant. So disinfectant is used to kill pathogens, and hence it is used to disinfect water. Bleaching powder is used to disinfect water, drinking water, to make it germ free. Another utility of bleaching powder is it is used as an oxidizing agent. It is used as an oxidizing agent. So these are the important applications, very few applications of bleaching powder. Apart from this, it also has got various other applications. So for our study, let's remember it's used in textile industry, paper industry, laundries to bleach clothes. It's used as a very good and powerful disinfectant, and also it's used as an oxidizing agent in various chemical industries. Is this clear to you, children? Let's move on to another important chemical, that is baking soda or sodium bicarbonate. The third important chemical synthesized utilizing sodium chloride is baking soda, chemically called as sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. What is its formula? NaHCO3 is baking soda. Let's understand how it is formed, how sodium chloride is used as a raw material here. Sodium chloride is NaCl, NaCl plus NH3 is ammonia plus H2O plus CO2. Let's understand the products which are formed. The first product is NaHCO3, that is the baking soda, and with this we'll find another product, that is ammonium chloride. NH4Cl is ammonium chloride. NH4Cl is ammonium chloride. And NaHCO3 is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. And the raw materials used are NaCl, that is sodium chloride, NH3 is ammonia, and with this H2O and CO2. So the combination of all these yield two important products. One is ammonium chloride and the other is sodium hydrogen carbonate. This is how sodium chloride here acts as a very important raw material in the synthesis of a very important, commercially important chemical called as sodium hydrogen carbonate. Is this clear to you, children? So now it's time to understand the significance of, the importance or the uses of baking soda. So before that, you need to check out whether the equation is balanced or not. Check whether the equation is balanced. If the equation is balanced, let's move on to the uses of baking soda. Baking soda is the one which we find in every kitchen, right? Do you find baking soda in your kitchen? Definitely. Oh, it's used in making pakoras very crispy and tasty. Also, in some cases, it is added to dosa or idli batter just before preparing dosa or idli. Why it is used? There are several reasons for using this. One thing is to make it crispy and tasty, and the other thing is it is also used to hasten the process of cooking, to fasten the process of cooking. You must have heard of the term baking powder. So baking powder is the one which is widely used in bakeries in preparing soft and spongy cakes and bread. Let's understand the utility, the uses of baking soda one by one. Before that, we will know what happens when this baking soda is heated. We all use baking soda for cooking, especially pakoras and several other items. What happens when it is heated? Let's see. NaHCO3 upon heating, right? So we are going to employ heat to it. What happens is Na2CO3 plus H2O plus CO2 is given off. Check whether the equation is balanced. NaHCO3 is, we know, sodium hydrogen carbonate, and Na2CO3 is sodium carbonate. Is it not? This is sodium carbonate. Check whether it is balanced. Sodium is one atom here, and here in the right hand side we find two atoms of sodium. We need to balance, so I need to put 2 here. I cannot put 2 here. Hope you know about this. So putting 2 here indicates that now hydrogen also has gained another atom. Carbon and oxygen also have gained some more atoms. We need to balance all of them. Hydrogen, there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. Here also it is 2 balanced. Carbon is 2 and carbon is 2. Oxygen is 6 here. 3 cross 2 is 6. Oxygen is 3 plus 1 is 4 and 5 6. So the equation here is balanced. Now let's understand how baking powder is manufactured. Baking powder is nothing but combination of sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is baking soda plus some mild edible acids, very mild edible acids. Edible acids is acids that are fit for consumption. Very mild edible acids, for example, tartaric acid is one such acid. Tartaric acid. So this is what baking powder is. What happens when baking powder is heated? Baking powder, NaHCO3 plus, what did we add to it? Mild edible acids. You all know all acids have H plus ions. So definitely when mild edible acid is added to it, it gains H plus ions, right? Gains in essence H plus ions. We need to write H plus ion to this. So what happens when it is heated? Let's see. So H plus ion is from any edible acid. I have quoted an example to be tartaric acid. Any other mild edible acid will do the same. Mild edible acid. So what happens here? When baking powder is heated or mixed with water, when it is mixed with water or when it is heated, it gives CO2, H2O and also sodium salt of acid. Sodium salt of acid. The carbon dioxide gas evolved in this process is the one which makes bread, cakes spongy and soft. Is this clear to you, children? Look at the equation once again. Sodium hydrogen carbonate and H plus from any acid, any edible acid. When it is heated or mixed in water, the reaction takes place. So the carbon dioxide produced in this reaction makes bread or cake to raise, and hence it makes them soft and spongy. We already came to know that this baking soda is a mild base. So being a mild base, being alkaline, it is used as an important ingredient. It is used as an important ingredient in antacids, in preparation of antacids. As it is mild base, it is used to neutralize. It is used to neutralize excess acid present in stomach. Excess acid that is generated in stomach will be neutralized. Excess acid present in stomach. So, another important utility of this is it is used in soda acid fire extinguishers. Very important and very interesting concept. Soda acid fire extinguishers. Extinguishers. Let's understand what is the soda acid fire extinguisher. Soda acid fire extinguishers work on the principle that carbon dioxide released, the cloudy carbon dioxide released, cuts off the supply of oxygen. So we need to understand fire extinguishing property. Fire, what makes actually to catch fire, oxygen supply must be there, is it not? So to cut off oxygen supply is the one which really works in order to extinguish fire. So let's see how this sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate is used. When this sodium bicarbonate NaHCO3 is made to react with the H2SO4, a reaction takes place, dilute sulfuric acid, and in this reaction we obtain some products, and the important product here which we require is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide oozes out, or clouds of carbon dioxide formed, cuts off the supply of oxygen. So this is the equation. What happens here is sodium bicarbonate, upon reacting with this dilute acid, gives some products, and the important product of our interest is carbon dioxide here. If you have to balance the equation, we need to put 2 here, so that hydrogen is 2 and 2 4. Hydrogen is to be balanced. I need to put 2 here. Carbon is also to be balanced. So see whether the equation is balanced now. It seems to be balanced. And in this equation, the carbon dioxide produced here acts as a fire extinguisher. So carbon dioxide, how does it act? It cuts off the supply of oxygen and hence acts as a fire extinguisher. So we can say that soda, that is NaHCO3, can be used in a particular reaction in order to release carbon dioxide, so that carbon dioxide acts as a fire extinguisher. It cuts off the supply of oxygen and hence it extinguishes fire. Is this clear to you? Remember the equation, and remember in the whole process the significance is of carbon dioxide, and in order to make this carbon dioxide release, we are going to employ a technique wherein this sodium bicarbonate reacts with a dilute acid H2SO4, and some reaction takes place, and in this reaction carbon dioxide is released, and this carbon dioxide forms a cloud, so that it cuts off the supply of oxygen and hence acts as a fire extinguisher. Is this concept clear to you, children? So this is all about sodium bicarbonate. Let's understand what another important product or a chemical is obtained which utilizes sodium chloride as its raw material. So that is washing soda. Washing soda is sodium carbonate, but not just sodium carbonate, it is actually said to be hydrated sodium carbonate. In order to write its chemical formula, I need to write not just Na2CO3 but Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. You must be wondering what this 10H2O is. The 10H2O here refers to the water of crystallization. We will understand more about it later. First, let's understand how this Na2CO3 is formed. So, we came to know while studying baking soda, we understood what happens when baking soda is heated. We came to know that NaHCO3 upon heating, what happened? Na2CO3 is obtained, right? Na2CO3 plus H2O plus CO2. Do you remember this equation? So in this process Na2CO3 is obtained, and this Na2CO3 upon recrystallization gives washing soda. So what happens? Upon recrystallization, of this Na2CO3, what happens? Washing soda is obtained. Washing soda is obtained. To put it in terms of a equation, Na2CO3 plus water. I need to write 10 here because the formula of washing soda is Na2CO3 dot 10H2O, which signifies 10 atoms of water is to be added in the process of recrystallization. So here 10 signifies 10 water molecules are present as single unit with sodium carbonate. Remember, whenever you asked to write the formula, the chemical formula of washing soda, you will not just write Na2CO3 but you will write Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. So what does this 10H2O signify? 10H2O signifies 10 molecules of water are present as a single unit in sodium carbonate. We will understand more about this later. Now let's understand the uses of this washing soda. Here also you must be wondering where did sodium chloride come into picture. You need to understand sodium hydrogen carbonate utilized sodium chloride to be the main ingredient in its synthesis, and here also we got to know upon heating sodium hydrogen carbonate we obtained Na2CO3 sodium carbonate, and recrystallization of sodium carbonate gave rise to washing soda. Is this clear to you? Let's understand the uses of washing soda now. Uses of washing soda. Washing soda is domestically important, industrially also very important. Is used in glass industry, soap and paper industries. Is used in glass industry, soap industry, paper industry. Soap and paper industries. And you must be aware of the term borax. Is used in the manufacture of borax. So borax is a cleaning agent. Is a cleaning agent. So in the manufacture of borax, washing soda is used, and borax is a very good cleaning agent. It's also used as a cleaning agent for various domestic purposes. Domestic purposes. Another important application is it is used to remove the permanent hardness of water. Used to remove permanent hardness of water. What is used to remove permanent hardness of water? Washing soda is used to remove permanent hardness of water. The carbonate ions of Na2CO3 react with the calcium and magnesium ions present in hard water, making it very soft. So it's used to remove permanent hardness of water, and that is how it makes hard water soft. So these are the uses or some of the applications of washing soda. Is this clear to you, children? So this is all about this session. Let's meet in the next session. Thank you all.